Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai Barakatham, to the house of David, which consists of the hopefully elect, which we're hoping and striving to be a part of that number, because, real quick, man, I'm going to go ahead and start off with this. I didn't have it planned, but as usual, whenever the Spirit wants to bring something out, then it's going to come out, because very dark days are ahead, because they're still talking about this dark winter. They've been talking about a possible recession coming this winter, dealing with this whole supply chain crisis that's going on, which, more information has been coming out, dealing with the supply chain crisis and the shortage in truck drivers and so on and so forth, which we should know it's all being orchestrated, all right, by these Job 9024s, all right, because Salaki, this is not actually the video I want to have. Wawa's maple. So yeah, before I play that, because harvest handcrafted Salakia, saw this video by Rethinking the Dollar, right? I believe his name is Mike, and he did this video here. It says holding food hostage until you comply, all right? Because, like I was saying, dealing with this whole supply chain crisis, and like I said, the shortage in truck drivers and things like that. Basically, with the forces dealing with keeping the society functioning, keeping America functioning or whatnot, which technically goes into the supply chain. Basically, like I said, with this information that's been coming out, they're saying, because you still got a lot of these cargo ships out there just sitting out there on the coast, all right. I believe they said there's like $22 billion worth of cargo just out there, and this stuff is not getting to the truck drivers, aren't picking these things up and delivering these things to the stores or whatnot, but they're saying, from what I'm understanding, it's not more so that's not necessarily the problem. The problem being that dealing with these truck drivers and these people that pretty much work behind the scenes to keep things going and whatnot. They're saying the problem is that these people, they don't want to take the Vanessa. So, it appears that's what they're pushing now, dealing with these guys that work out there in these cargo ships and the truck drivers and so on and so forth. They don't want to take the Vanessa. So, they're saying that's what the issue is. You see, because again, the stuff is out there. It's just sitting out there. All these goods and supplies, man. They're just sitting out there, but no one to deliver the products because they don't want to take the Vanessa. So it appears to be the narrative that they're pushing now. And again, just paying attention to what's going on worldwide. Because again, this is orchestrated. All right, it's not just happening here in America. You had this guy, what's his name, out there in Australia, which it's just funny because they're actually, with how they're supposedly dealing with this pandemic or whatnot. Because if you don't know by now, man, Australia, man, they're pretty much on lockdown for the most part, man. They're this build back better thing that Joe Biden keeps talking about, which like I said before, it's just pretty much a PG way of saying the NWO. Let me make sure I'm still recording. But this whole build back better thing, it's just a PG way of saying the NWO. All right. It's pretty much in effect over there in Australia. And like I said, they're actually praising Australia for how they're handling these things, which, because I mean, of course, this is something that they want to implement worldwide. It's a worldwide agenda. All right. But you got the premier. I got this here. I guess he was being interviewed or whatever, right? I'm gonna read this here because I'm not gonna play the video, but I'm gonna just read this. It says, Premier Daniel Andrews has issued a warning to any unvaccinated Victorians thinking they can wait out getting jabbed and expecting to do the same things as the fully, vaccinated. It says, in quotes, it says, if you make the judgment to not get Vanessa and you reckon you can wait out us, or I think they meant to say wait us out, or the Republican, or whatever you want to think you are waiting out, you won't wait out the virus because the virus will be here for a long time and your only protection against it is being a Vanessa, Mr. Andrews said at a media conference on Tuesday. All right. It says this will be well into 2022, well and truly into 2022. Because you see, man, I said this before, man. How do you got to ask yourself when they come up with these predictions and these numbers and when they put this stuff out there, you got to ask yourself, how did they know these things? Because it's orchestrated. All right. Because they've been talking about how this supply chain crisis and the because they're talking about also increase in goods, right? Stuff like that. Pretty much everything that's going on can well spill over into 2022, right? Again, you got to ask yourself, how do they know this stuff? Because it's all orchestrated. It's all part of the plan. All right, they're tightening the grip on the people to get the people to comply. All right. So reading on, it says, please don't play that game of let's just wait them out and then we will be able to do everything we want to do and have not gotten Vanessa. No, that will not be the case here. And if you make that choice, it will be a very long wait and you won't outwait this virus. So, hey, stern warning out there in Australia, what this guy told the people that don't want to take this Vanessa, hey, pretty much, because now, like I said, the narrative is kind of being pushed pretty much to starve the people out. All right, that's pretty much what they're trying to do now. And that's why I'm going to play this video here. All right, because they were also talking about with Biden's administration is talking about sending out or using the military to dealing with this supply chain crisis, because the scriptures talk about this trench. Once we start to see the enemy come past us, then because it's about to be showtime out here. And like I said, man, it's getting ready to get crazy out here because like I said, they're putting the squeeze on more and more, man. And did a video on this not too long ago about how they're pretty much getting you used to seeing a military presence, all right, which pretty much one step closer to martial law, because again, the elites, man, they're very calculated with their moves, all right, very thought out, and pretty much they know that they're going to get a lot of resistance, they're going to get a lot of kickback, so this is why, again, step by step gradualism, they do these things. So you see, because going back to the whole, you got bus driver shortages in certain states, healthcare workers are walking off the jobs. You got police departments quitting, right? You got a lot going on to where a lot of people in the medical field, a lot of these people are walking off the jobs and it's leaving all these shortages, right? And, we've said it before, man. Hey, who do you think is going to replace those spots? Right? The military. All right? So again, getting the people used to this, seeing this military presence, all right, which, you know, more and more is leading to martial law. It's going to, because eventually, again, it's going to get to a point where it's just the people are going to become restless. You know, because that's what these Job 9024s. That's what they're doing. They're backing people into a corner until they just until they just lash out. All right, because I said this before, man. Not only are you going to have because right now, if you're paying attention, you see there's pretty much inflation, right? The cost of a lot of things is going up, you know. But I've said this plenty of times, man. Not only are you going to have that, not only are you going to have hyperinflation, right? Because again, that's pretty much what they're talking about. Because these stores, these supplies and goods and products are not getting to these stores. So this is why you see a lot of the, in some places the shelves are thinning out. All right. So again, not only are you going to have ridiculous prices for basic necessities, but you're going to have a lack of it. You're going to have just a lack of it. You know, because the days where you just being able to go to the grocery store and just shop and get all your goods and all that's coming to an end. You see, and as brothers have said, man, get comfortable with getting uncomfortable, because that's how it's going to be out here. And let me go ahead and bring this out in Second Esdras. I was just thinking about it. Actually, I think that's 8. Chapter 8. Let's see what this says real quick. Because I was thinking about it, but it kind of just slipped my mind. Because, again, very dark days we're coming into. So I'll just go ahead and read this in 2 Esdras chapter 8 and verse 50. It says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride." And you see, this is because great humbling is getting ready to take place, especially here in America. This is the most powerful place, the most powerful people. You know, I was just telling my demon the other day, man, you got other crackers that they pretty much hate American crackers, man. You got, crackers over there in Europe, and other places, man. They hate these American crackers, man, because these crackers here and these people in general, man, they're the most powerful people. They're the most lazy, most obese, most out of shape, all of the above, man. And you see, this is why this place is going to get it the worst, man. So this is what's getting ready to come on this earth, but more so here in America. Many great miseries. All right. There's another one. Because again, pretty much, the cat's out of the bag. A lot of people know, for the most part, that this is like I said, because this is being orchestrated, and a lot of people can see it. Right. So, where's the precept at, man? Because a famine, the stage for a famine is being set, is the point. But I'm trying to think about, where's this precept at? I think that's and ultimately this is Yahweh Shemel Shai. He's getting ready to, he's set it up. He's setting the judgments up. Yeah, this is it. So Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 40, in verse 9, it says, "Death and bloodshed, strife, the sword." You see, because they're also talking about dealing with the crime rate that's been going up, and the record amount of guns. People are buying guns and ammo at an all-time high. All this stuff. You see, the sword, as it tells you in the book of Ezekiel, is being sharpened. All right. It's going to be a lot of bloodshed out here, man. A lot of death. Death is going to be in the air. The scripture's going to prepare for lamentation, prepare for woe, lamentation, because that's all that's going to be in the air. It's death. And when you read on, it says calamities. Yeah, just more trouble, more misery. More pain and anguish. That's what's being set up. That's what's in store for this place. It says famine, tribulation, and the scourge. So again, because hey, famine that's just another one of many ways, a million and one ways. How about Shemel Shai? He can judge you, and as it tells you in the book of Lamentation, man, that hey, starving to death, it's a very harsh way to go. All right, it's better. The scriptures tell you it's better to basically perish by the sword, or die any other way for the most part, than to die of starving. That's a very hard way to go, man. And you see, and this is why, and I'm speaking to myself as well. It's good to fast on a regular, man. All right, that's a part of our sacrifice, and it's a part of our requirements. Being in this truth, we ought to take the time out to fast. Because if you have fasted before, because you really shouldn't. The Day of Atonement is really on the day that we're commanded to fast. But Day of Atonement shouldn't be the only day, one day out of the year that we should be fasting. Like I said, we just take the time out whenever we feel the need to fast, to do so. Get your body used to being in that state of hunger. All right, because hey, Yahweh Shema Shai, he's getting ready to force these people to fast. He's going to force these people on the fast. And like I said, if you've ever fasted, you know the feeling, man. Going for a certain amount of time without eating or drinking, right? Hey, it starts to plague you, man. It's starts playing with your mind. You start hallucinating, man. You just, hey, it's hard, That hey, Yahweh Shema Shai, he's getting ready to force these people on the fast, man. All right. And like I said, doing a 1 or 2 day fast, 1, 2, 3 day fast, man, hey, that's hard in itself. But hey, these people, man, the Lord's going to have them fasting for days, days at a time or whatnot, man. So when you read on in verse 10, it says, these things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. So you see, because, hey, just like during the time of Noah, all right, hey, it got to a point where Yahweh Shema Shai, man, he got sick and fed up, and he killed everybody save Noah and his family. All right, and you see, we reached, and this is thousands of years ago. The Lord brought that judgment back then. How much more now, when this place is at an all-time high wickedness? It's only getting worse. I just saw something about how some high school football game, and parents are pissed off about this. But at some football game, they because at the halftime they do the shows or whatever, and again, this is at a high school football game. They supposedly brought out some transformers to perform a drag show, and parents they're pissed off about that. So you see, man, because that's another thing with them forcing this transformer, this sodomite agenda down our throat, and again, just to show you more that how this place is at an all-time high in wickedness, man. So this is what being prepared. All these things are being prepared for the wicked. All right. Talking about these Job 9:24s, the nations, and 2/3 of Israel. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video. I also got another video. I'm gonna play this one. I got another video. Because again, dealing with this holding a food hostage until you comply. You see, this is nothing new. Scripture said nothing new under the sun. They cut off the food and water supply. They've done that in our history, So without further ado, I'm gonna play this video and just get to the commercial.
Beverages are back. Good morning start at Wawa.
So it looks like the narrative of the whole supply chain issue continues to evolve. And it looks like food is going to be the foundation of it, and how they're going to hold food hostage until you comply, or until they get as many people as possible to participate. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because they keep changing these numbers. I think at one time they said, like, in order to, quote unquote, go back to normal or open back up or whatever, it had to be like 75%. Then it went up to 80% or something like that. But now they were saying how they want 100%, full cooperation, or we ain't going back to normal. We're going to continue with these restrictions and mandates and stuff like that until everybody complies. And you see, again, dealing with the narrative, because they're going to push this narrative of, well, we can't get back to, how we used to be, because those that don't want to take the Vanessa, those that, they don't want to partake in this thing, man. They're going to point the blame on those that don't want to take the Vanessa. So this is the narrative. You see the scriptures say, what does it say? 2 Corinthians 2:11. I'll just get it real quick. 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So, you know, it's to the point where now, hey, we can pretty much we know the playbook, man. Certain things, certain brothers, man, they specifically say before these Job 9:24s even do it, because it's, you know, he's predictable at this point. So for the most part, man, the men of the Lord, they're ahead of the game.
About this. Okay, so it's been a minute since I've done a little quick take. Thought I would take a minute to share some 2 cents on a video came across earlier today. And it's very disturbing, but yet very informative in the fact that slowly but surely, more information comes out into the real agenda of what's really going on. And of course, it has nothing to do with the bottleneck issues of the supply chain and all the excuses that's being given right now. I even saw an article earlier that talked about how because of those that have not participated on the ships in the seaports, they're not allowed inside the ports until they fully participate as well. So all those narratives that were being given.
So yeah, like I pretty much said, now they're saying it's because of the sailors and the truck drivers, those that don't want to take the Vanessa. They're the reasons why all those ships are just sitting out there and these products are not getting to the stores. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying now.
Being given, but yet also came across a video.
What is sitting in all these containers behind us?
Everything.
Longshoremen telling me some of these containers have been sitting here for 6 months with a shortage of truck drivers to get.
And they always use that 6, man. You gotta pay attention, man. They always use the number 6.
The goods on the highway and into stores. It's not just making things harder to find, it's making them more expensive.
Today we face an economy that's in transition. And as part of that transition, we are seeing high prices for some of the things that people...
And again, you got to pay attention. He just said, this guy, whoever he is, just said that basically how this economy is in transition. In transition into what? This quote-unquote build back better. All right? In transition of this enterprise that these Job 9:24s are trying to establish.
People have to buy. But the reality is that the only way we're going to get to a place where we work through this transition is if everyone in America and everyone around the world gets vaccinated. That's why the president continues to be focused on the idea that we get everyone who can vaccinated in this country.
An Austrian article came out a couple days ago on this video here. But it looks like the Secretary of Treasuries, it looks like a Wale Adeyemo, came out making some very outlandish statements that really don't make any sense, but it just further tells more of their overall agenda. And it has nothing to do with the idea of the supply chain being the primary issue. It's all about how can they further squeeze people and put people in a dire situation to where they'll have to participate. And of course, in this whole global pandemic. But just something he mentioned that really stood out is the fact that he stated that our economy is going through a transition.
Today we face an economy that's in transition.
And that's one of the things that no further explanation was given. What exactly do you mean a transition? Where are we heading to? And how will people participate in this experimentation further help this transition, making it easier on your everyday person? And of course, the transition I want to talk about a little bit. Of course, we talked about it, and it has everything to do with the globalist agenda towards this Build Back Better initiative, which of course, none of the true side effects has actually been discussed whatsoever, because all the politicians, both left and right, are all in it to some extent. And then also today as well, there's rumors floating around that Pelosi, once she gets this Build Back Better agenda passed, she might end up stepping down. So it appears to be that the ultimate goal is just to get this thing rolling with this Build Back Better agenda by any means necessary. And so it looks like, if this is true, Pelosi might be going to cut short her lifelong career in Congress in order to further this agenda. But yet this transition that the Wally guy spoke about, it's part of the global takeover. They're going to use food as a hostage to make sure that as many people as possible comply. And that might be the backbreaker for a lot of us submission that goes forth moving forward. Because as we're seeing more and more pictures of shelves being depleted.
Hey man, like I said, this is a part of the trench. All right, slowly but surely they're compassing Jerusalem, because ultimately that's what it's about. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. All right, they're setting this trench up, and More so when you go into the siege of Jerusalem, all right, when they, like I said, cut off the food and water supply, man, they basically starved Jake out. And you see, because one thing's going to lead to another, man. Like I said, it's going to get so bad out here, man. Cannibalism is going to come back on a major scale, not like it's ever been ever before. You see, so dark times ahead. And this is why, man, we need the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. Lord's will, we're a part of that number.
In the case, did you also hear what those guys said in that video about the fact there's been containers sitting at the port for approximately 6 months that haven't been moved? And of course, they gave their list of excuses as to why that has been the case. But the food is there, the goods are there. They just don't want us to have it. Why? Because they want to squeeze us out. They want to get the last remaining people who have not participated involved before they move on to the next phase, which in my opinion will not be peaceful, to say the least. But anyway, thought I would just share my 2 cents on this video real quick. The transition is well underway. It's nothing about the supply chain. It's all about the food starving us out. So what does that mean? Continue to get your weight up to protect yourself on a financial sense, but more importantly, on a day-to-day side of things, you're going to need calories. So ultimately, get your calories up, and that's one thing we'll also be talking more about as well, because it's becoming more and more obvious that food and water is at the backbone of all this. And the more they cut off all the ports and all the exit points and entry points to this country for food, that means a more dire situation people fall into. So anyway, hope everyone's well. Love to hear.
Yeah, man. Because again, moving closer and closer to that martial law status. Because like I mentioned, to supposedly help out with this crisis and whatnot, as well as the shortages with all these employees leaving and whatnot, bringing in the military. Because I said this before. I've said this several times, plenty of times, that what you seen when this whole pandemic started with the lockdowns, 2020, and how you had long queues of lines, you had the store associates, the employees pretty much directing traffic, stuff like that, all that stuff, that type of setting. I've said this plenty of times, man. There's going to come a time where you're going to have that again, but it's going to be more magnified. All right. And instead of the store employees, you're going to have military presence directing traffic, rationing food, stuff like that. Because, like the scriptures say, because of lack of bread and tribulation, you see, people are going to go buck wild out here, man. If you're standing in a line and waiting for, it's going to be on some Hunger Game type stuff out here, man. Standing in line, waiting for food, waiting for a bag of potatoes or waiting for a bag of rice or whatever, and there's 800 people in the line, right? But they only have enough food for 500 people. You see, once you get to that last person, the 500th person, right? Hey, man, they ain't got enough food for everybody else. Hey, what you think is going to happen? Just let your imagination run rampant on that, man. But nevertheless, this is what's being orchestrated, this type of setting. And you see, when people start going ape shit, again, the military, they're already going to be there. All right. So, this is just justification on just locking things down. And this is why it tells you here in 2nd Esdras 15, because again, part of the pride is that these people, they don't believe that martial law can happen in America. They don't believe it can't happen, and they don't believe it will happen, right? But 2nd Esdras 15 and 17, it says, and a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because they're gonna have this shit on lockdown. All right, checkpoints. I also talked about that a lot. Like during when the pandemic started and all that. You had some places, man, you had checkpoints for the Vanessa sites and stuff like that. Certain checkpoints in certain places. You're gonna see that, but it's gonna be much more magnified. Like I said, it'll be heavy military presence. All right, the whole 9 yards, man. Some shit straight out of a movie. All right, a very dystopian type setting is gonna be here in America. All right, but I'm gonna play this video here. Yeah, I'm gonna play this video here.
This is the most important update I have ever done. I'm going to show you this on our computer as well. The reason why they are bringing the army in is to install martial law into the UK. It has
because let me let him play.
Absolutely nothing to do with the petrol crisis. This is very obvious. They have now introduced a plan B to install the New World Order and install all these COVID restrictions.
Because the UK right now, they I saw something about how they're pretty much calling for a plan B, right? When if you don't look into things, man, you know, you see they say something, but behind the scenes, man, there's a whole lot that comes with it. There's a whole lot they don't put out there, because they're calling for this plan B, because supposedly, you know, the cases are rising again out there in the UK. You know, hospitals are pretty much the healthcare system is pretty much in shambles, so to say. You know, and they're talking about going back I don't think they were talking about going back on lockdown, but I think they were talking about bringing back like certain restrictions and things of that nature. You know, so again, with this whole plan B out there in the UK, just let them play this out.
This is horrendously concerning. This is the reason why they are bringing the army onto the streets. We know these elites and politicians lied to us throughout. You can see here on the BBC, they are telling you they are bringing the army onto the streets, and they are trying to sneak this past you. This is to bypass our parliament. The MPs have stood up for us, and now they are trying to illegally bypass our parliament and bypass the British democracy. This is concerning. We need to be aware of what they do. Do you remember when they told us it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve? This is the exact same thing. They're going to bring the army onto the streets, and martial law is going to be declared through biosecurity, the exact same way they have done in Australia. Be aware of this. I can confidently say this, and we, the people, will not stand for it.
So yeah, man. Hey, it's gonna be it's gonna be some revolutionary type shit out here, man. Because like I said, because you know, these Job 9 and 24s, they know people are gonna resist. They know this place is gonna go up in flames, and that's gonna justify them, being that the military is already gonna be here. That's gonna justify them on locking things down. And like I said, hey, it's gonna be something straight out of a dystopian. It's going to be something straight out of a movie, man. A dystopian setting here in America. Rationing, food rationing, supply rationing, stuff like that, man. You know, I'm going to read this in Leviticus chapter 26. Because this is what you're going to start seeing. As the supplies, food and supplies become more and more scarce, all right? When there's not enough of it, this is what you're going to start seeing. As well as in 2 Ezra 15, I think I quoted it already, but how it talks about because of the lack of bread and tribulation, hey, people are going to be robbing one another, man. You know, robbing the next man for what he's got. Friends are going to become foes. All right, people are going to turn on one another. It's going to be a dog-eat-dog world out here because of the lack of food and supplies. But this is what you're going to start seeing out here in Leviticus chapter 26. And just bear with me. Leviticus 26, I'll start at verse 25. It says, "And I will bring a sword upon you." Like I read in Ecclesiasticus, the 40th chapter. Hey, the Lord's going to bring all these famines, a sword, pestilence. All right. For the wicked, to judge the wicked. It says, "That shall avenge the quarrel of my covenant. And when ye are gathered together with your cities, within your cities, I will send pestilence among you, and ye shall be delivered into the hand of the enemy. And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women shall bake your bread in one oven." So pretty much, and because you got a little taste of this already with this whole pandemic. You know, people that lost their jobs, man, they started hunkering down, and you know, people started moving back in with their parents, and you know, stuff like that. You know, people started moving in together, you know, certain families moving in with, you know, other certain families and whatnot, you know. It says, and they shall deliver you your bread again by weight. So pretty much rationing. All right. They shall deliver your bread by weight, you know, food rationing. All right. Because there's going to be such a scarcity of things. And again, who's going to be the one doing the rationing? The military. You see, it says, and ye shall eat and not be satisfied. Because like I said, hey, the days where, you know, people, because one thing about America, it teaches you to be gluttonous, you know, to overindulge, you know, to be greedy. But you see, hey, like I said, the days going to come where Yahweh Shemel Shai, he's going to take all that away. You see, and a lot of people, hey, they're going to starve to death, man. Then they're not going to get enough of, you know, the basic necessities, man. You know, like Mike said, rethinking the dollar, like you said, man. Hey, man, dealing with those calories. Hey, people, they're not going to be getting their calories in, man. You know, it's going to be, hey, your stomach's going to be touching the back of your spine, man. This is what you're going to start seeing out here. People hunkering down and, you know, moving in together and stacking up, you know, to try to survive and stuff like that. But hey, again, very dark days ahead, man. This orchestrated famine is being put in place. They're still talking about a dark winter. All right, they were talking about the perfect storm of just all these simultaneous things within the prices and just goods and supplies and famines and, you know, just all these things. When the scriptures talk about that, man, how the Lord said, hey, man, he was gonna do all these things. And you see, it's gonna be bad because if I'm not mistaken, man, there's never really been a point in time where Yahweh Shemel Shai judged he judged with all these things simultaneously. Because you see, when Yahweh Shemel Shai sends these judgments, all this stuff is going to be happening at the same time, simultaneously. And I don't think there's ever been a time where the Lord did that. Yeah, there's been a time where the Lord judged, he may have judged with famines and pestilences here and there. You know, he's done things here and there, but with all these things happening at once, you see, this is why Daniel 12:1 talks about how this is going to be a time that has never been since the earth was created, man. All right, and that's heavy, you know. That's very heavy, man. But nevertheless, these are the bad times that we're coming into, man. And like I said, this is why we are going to need the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai. You know, because the elect, they're going to be eaten in those days. They're going to be straight. All right, they're going to be clothed. They're going to be fed. They're going to be taken care of by the hand of Yahweh Bashim Shai. So they got nothing to worry about. The hopeful elect, we got nothing to worry about. So hopefully this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Bashim Shai Barakatham, to the house of David, the holy elect. Lord's willing, till next time. Shalom.